We got Grant Dawson back here on the program. He's going to be taking on Julian Erosa in his UFC debut, finally coming up here. UFC on ESPN Plus 4 in Kansas on March 9th. Grant, how are you?
Fantastic, buddy. How you been doing?
I'm doing awesome. It's good to catch up with you again. Good to see you have a fight booked. The last time we talked, obviously you were back with the UFC, but, not like you ever left. But, it's good to be talking about a fight finally. And let's talk about the matchup right away. Julian Erosa, a fellow Dana White's Contender Series winner. How do you feel like you match up against him here?
I mean, what am I supposed to say? Like, I feel like I match up well against everybody. I feel like, it's your striker versus grappler matchup, and I think that it's a really good fight. I think we're one of the more exciting fights on the card, actually. So hoping to go in there, put on a great performance, and get some bonus money.
Was this the type of opponent you wanted in your debut, or were you hoping for a veteran?
I don't care. Me and James sat down and we were watching film and talking, and he was telling me this is a great matchup for you. This is a great fight for the both of you. And I was like, James, they could have put Max Holloway in there with me. I don't care. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to make this debut. When I was 15 years old, I told my parents I wanted to be a UFC fighter when I grow up. And March 9, I finally get to tell them I'm a UFC fighter.
Where do you feel like you've improved the most since the last time we saw you? I know you work on everything. I know you're still really a young guy, so we really haven't even seen the peak yet. What would you say are some things that you're looking to showcase in this fight?
I could talk about striking, I could talk about wrestling, I could talk about all that, but I feel like the place that I have grown the most in my 14-month layoff is the blend, right? Our gym is very unique that we train each specific martial art, individually, sure, absolutely, every now and then, but the thing we practice on the most is the blending everything together. I really believe that's where the sport is going. That's where the top level guys, what are they good at? They're good at blending everything together. If you have a fighter who's a C- in every area, but can blend it all really well, you have an A+ fighter.
Okay. And you referenced your camp there, Glory MMA. I imagine you just train there, no cross training. I mean, you have everything you need at Glory, right?
Everything I need at Glory. Everything, we got rehab. Dr. Robbie Ray has an office. He's a chiropractor, Power On Chiropractic. Dr. Robbie Ray, he is in the building. He takes care of me every single day. I just saw him this morning. Fantastic. We have our strength and conditioning coach, Stefan. He's been taking care of my strength and conditioning. And then, right across over in the exact same building, we have our mats and our training partners and my coach, James Krause. We got everything we need in one building.
Who have been your training partners for this camp?
I've had the same training partners I always have: Jason Witt, Trey Ogden, John O'Brien. They've all been helping me out. They've all got big fights coming up, so we're all kind of grinding together. We're all getting ready for these breakthrough fights. I really believe that Trey Ogden actually fights tonight.
That's right. Anthony Backham. I saw that fight. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's a good fight. Co-main event in LFA. And I think that after this fight, he's definitely going to get a big call. I really believe he's going to get a big call. I think Jason Witt is right there. He needs one more. After his last performance, he needs one more. And I think he's in, So I really feel like our guys are breaking through into the UFC left and right.
Yeah, and that's kind of neat. That's what I love about your gym as well, is because we saw sort of the past guys, when you had Tim Elliott in there, when you had Krause make the UFC, and now it's like the newcomers are coming through. We saw Megan Anderson, last year, and then also, even before that. What does it mean to represent the new wave of Glory, making their way to the UFC?
I mean, it's great. I love it. Obviously we're all in this for ourselves. Obviously we want our teammates to do well, but at the end of the day, I do MMA for myself. So I'm really happy that this is my journey, not our journey. This is my journey. However, the better that they do, the better that I will have to do, because I have to, jump to that standard of their level. So, like I said, once Trey and Witt get into the UFC, we got younger guys behind them that you guys haven't even heard of, amateurs. I think that John O'Brien, he's one of my main training partners, and he's a 6-fight amateur. I really believe that he'll be in the UFC if he keeps doing what he's doing. He's a stud. We got a bunch of other guys coming up. David Onama's making his pro debut. 11-0 as an amateur, making his pro debut. soon. So we got a lot of young guys coming up. You know, Mike Breeden, all these killers are coming up, and it's great to train with them every single day.
How's the weight cut going? Ahead of this matchup, you've had a bit of notice. I imagine everything's going well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My weight's lower than it's been in a while. We talked before how I said I was going to try to get my weight down a little bit and skip some Christmas cookies. I believe we talked about, and I didn't do that. I had my Christmas cookies, but thank you, Tyler Mitten, the Mealy way. My weight's on point. I'm coming down. I'm lighter than I was in my Contender Series fight this far out.
How do you see this fight playing out on March 9th?
Excuse me. I mean, what am I supposed to say? I think I'm going to beat him. Obviously, I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great competitor. One thing that he has on me is he's had 3 UFC fights, the Ultimate Fighter, and Tough. So he's been under the bright lights. He's been on the big stage. He is a veteran in the sport. He's got 28 fights. This will be his 29th. That's almost 30 fights. He definitely has a lot of experience on me, and he's young, and he's a full-grown man. He'll be a definite challenge and test, and I am absolutely ready for it.
That's great. And before I let you go here, obviously, big fight coming up here in Wichita. How far away is that from where you live in Kansas?
3 hours. No, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. We're driving, so it's close enough that we don't need to fly. So we're gonna drive up there, so we have a car to explore the town when we're not doing media stuff and whatnot. So it's close enough to drive. That's close enough for me.
You expecting a lot of people out there? I know you're not originally from Missouri, but I imagine you'll have some good support out there on the card.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys from Lee Summit coming up, so I'm super excited that there's going to be a loud crowd to support me.
I can't believe we're finally talking about you in a UFC fight, Grant. We've been doing these interviews for a year. I'm so happy to see you finally make your debut. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours, man.
Guys, you know all this. Follow me on social media. Facebook and Instagram are where I'm really on there. Grant KGD Dawson. You can find me on both of those under that score. So give me a follow. Keep up to date with me. If you have any questions, shoot me some questions. I'm always looking to talk to people.